basically are starting up on the microphone. All right. All right. Yeah, no, thank you.
I'm okay.
There's some water there, by the way, if you need it.
Because I figure when I take my little sips, I'll drink some water.
All right.
Unless
So
that's
Shabbat
nutrition.
Shalom. Welcome. Happy Thanksgiving. Rabbi and Cantor obviously have the day off. And so my name is Brandon Frederick. I'm the chair of the Temple Emanu-El Ritual Committee. And I'm joined by Rachel Levy, David Goldberg, and Neil Winnig, who we will together be leading the service tonight. So welcome.
All right, we'll get started with Hine Ma Tovu. Hine Ma Tovu Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Ma Tovu Manayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Ma Tov Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. Hine Ma Tov Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. And you can join us on page 142 for Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boechem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech hamlachim hakarim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zietchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Thank you. I invite you to turn to page 120 as David Goldberg will be lighting our Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lechadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Invite you to welcome the people sitting next to you, wish them Shabbat Shalom. Neil's got the next part. Oh, do you want to finish? Oh, sure.
And continue on page 121. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. And their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light. So may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
We continue at the bottom of page 124 as we read together. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May it welcome all who have cares to unburden, thanks to express, hopes to nurture. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut our pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May its threshold be no stumbling block to young or straying feet. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. May this synagogue be, for all who enter, the doorway to a richer and more meaningful life. Now please turn to page 144. As we continue with the Chatzi Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shmei Rabba B'yamod yifrach yirutzeh v'yamlich malchuseh b'chayechon u'v'yamechon u'v'chayei l'kol bet Yisrael Bagola, uvizman kohariv, v'yimru amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach, le'olam u'olamei olmaya, yitborach, v'yishtabach, v'yishbar, v'yitroman, v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar, v'yithalel, v'yithalal, shemei dekudesha, berichu, leila mimkol v'chotza v'shirata, tush b'chota v'nechemata, dahamihiron b'alma, v'imru, amen.
Please join us either physically or spiritually in standing for the Baruch Hu. Can I take this one? Lai, la, lai, 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 lai. Lai, la, lai, 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 lai. Lai, la, lai, 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 la, lai. Yai, la, lai, 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 la, lai. Yai, la, lai, 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 lai. Lai, la, lai, 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 la, lai. Yai, la, lai, 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 la, lai. Yai, la, lai, 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai, HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai, HaMevorach,
Please turn to page 148 for the Ma'ariv Ravim. Let me get my glasses first. Page 148. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim. Chochma poteach sharim v'itnuna mishanea itim umachlif et chazmanim umsadeh et hakochavim v'mishmorotehem barikia kirtzono borei yom v'layla golel umifnei choshech v'choshef mifnei or uma'ariv yom uvei laila umabdil bein yom uvein laila Adonai tzvaot shemo el chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time, and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzivaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai ma'aravi aravim. And 149, this is an hour of change. This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it, we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim.
You can join us on page 150 for Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahafta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limdadeta, otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shachbenu, uvkumeinu nasiach betuchecha, v'nisma b'divrei toratecha, u'mishpotecha le'olam va'ed, ki hem chayenu, ve'orach yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla, negei yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavta al tasir mimenu le'alamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Ohev amo Yisrael.
Page 151, Wisdom and Wonder. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it from? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Please join us on 152 for the Shema. Open up our eyes, teach us how to live. Fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed.
You may now be seated.
Please turn to page 154 for the Ahafta. Ahafta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha v'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinanton levonecha v'dibarta bom b'shiftecha b'veitecha uvelechtecha b'derech ukeshaftecha uvekumecha ukeshavtom leot al yodecha v'hoyu l'totefos bein einecha ukeshavtom amazuzos beisecha uvishorecha Leman tiskoru vaisitem et kol mishvotai v'item kedoshim le'elheichem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeisi eschem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lechem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem emet. We continue on page 155. As we read the English translation of the Ahafta. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy unto your God. I am Adonai, your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God. Adonai Elohechem Emet. And we continue further on page 157, and we read responsively. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth together. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when nations shall be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Please join us on page 158 from Micha Mocha, and I encourage you to clap along, if not sing. Lai 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 mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh nora tehilot osefele nora tehilot osefele Lai 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 Malechutecha ra'u banecha bokei yam lifnei Moshe ve'elianu ve'amru ve'elianu ve'ameru Lai 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 Yai lai 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 yai lai 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 lai
We continue on page 161. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai haparei sukat shalom oleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim.
Please join us on page 162 with Vishamru. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratom berit olam beni uveim b'nei Yisrael otai le'olam Vishamru V'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Ledoratom berit olam Kish keshet ya'amim Asa Adonai et HaShamayim ve'et haaretz Vishamru V'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat V'toveyom berit olam Le'asot et HaShabbat Hayom hashvi'i Shabbat v'yinafesh Shabbat v'yinafesh Shabbat v'yinafesh V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat Le'torom berit olam.
Stand for the tefillah. Those of you who can stand, please do so as we chant the tefillah on page 164. Adonai sifosai tiftachu pi agi tehilotecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu. Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Oel Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Chazdei Avot v'Imahot. ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומשיח ומוגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מוגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. Continuing on page 168. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai mechayei hakol, atah rab lehoshia, umorir hagesem, umorir hasetel. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechayei hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim v'rofei cholim, umatir asurim, Umekayem Emanu-El Lishenei Afor Mikamocha Bo'al Givurot Umido Melech Melech Memit Umechayei Umatzmiach Yeshua V'nemonata Liot HaKol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayei hakol. Atah gibor b'simcha kadosh kadoshim b'chol yom haluchasela. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai, Oel HaKadosh.
Page 171. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illuminates the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see, wherever we gaze, that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim it in wonder. How filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Blessed is the Eternal One, the Holy God. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. We continue on page 173.
And you may be seated.
Thank you. Disturb us, Adonai. Ruffle us from our complacency. Make us dissatisfied with the peace of ignorance, the quietude which arises from a shunning of the horror, the defeat, the bitterness and the poverty, physical and spiritual of humans. Shock us, Adonai. Deny us the false Shabbat, which gives us the delusions of satisfaction amid a world of war and hatred. Wake us, O God, and shake us from the sweet and sad poignancies rendered by half-forgotten melodies and rubric prayers of yesteryears. Make us know that the border of the sanctuary is not the border of the living, and the walls of your temples are not shelters from the winds of truth, justice, and reality. Disturb us, O God, and vex us. Let not your Shabbat be a day of torpor and slumber. Let it be a time to be stirred and spurred to action. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 175. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah she'otecha levadecha b'yirah na'avod. Page 177. When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and stars that you set in place, what are we humans that you are mindful of us? We mortals that you take note of us. You made us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave dominion over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. How majestic is your name throughout the earth. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha ne'eh lehodot.
$178 for Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. B'necha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol eit ubechol shah bishlomecha. Shalom Rav on Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav on Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
We now pause for a moment of silent reflection.
Yiyu leratzon imrefi vehigion libi lefanecha. Adonai suri, Adonai suri. Vekoali, vekoali.
Our thoughts now turn to those who are in need of healing. We think of Sally Armerendez, Hannah Bat Miriam, Eliana Bat Hannah, Ivan Aronson, Bob Bell, Robert Berg, Arnold Berliner, Sandy Beanstalk, W.L. Bradley, Barry Brown, Brenda Buscher, Rich Burns, Esther Burton, Dr. Edward Kahn, Chu Chi, Sandra Cohen, Bunny Fisher, Joan Fox, Carolyn Franklin, Barbara Friedman, Holly Fugit, Marcia Gieser, Marina Goffney, Sharon Ginkin, Mandy Gillis, Harry Glaze, Charlene Griffin, Ted Googlin, Linda Harris, Dr. Gary Height, Jesse Jessen, Jenny Johnson, Mimi Jones, Melissa Katz, Evelyn Katz McCosker, Leah Tzvia Bat Liba Ve'elhanan, Shirley Lerner, Carol the Sage, Letitia Leosh, Bobby Lotman, Austin Lucero, Janice Lucero, Karen Mack, Sid Melbourne, Neil Mindell, Vivian Cooper Moore, Gunther Myberg, Brad Parkins, Gabriel Pollock, Stephanie Rasmussen, David Rice, Carol Ross, Linda Rogers, Dolores Sams Hoy, Valerie Sands, Rochelle Safe, Gary Sanders, Laura Sanders, Malachi Saracen, Donna Shine, Donna Tiemann, Pham T. Trang, Gina Thrower, Teresa Walsh, Jeannie Watson, Nancy Weisenfeld, Sue Winton, Sherman Wong, Brandon Yarkin, Madison Zales, and everyone who is suffering from coronavirus. We wish them all a speedy and complete recovery, and we join together in Mishaberach. Mishaberach.
Page 111, 511. Mishaberach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha comes before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor Abraham leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema. The renewal, the body, the renewal, the spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Thank you. So, in place of the rabbi's devar as ritual committee chair, I've written a little bit about ritual. So, here's what I've got to say. Wednesday evening, I was up late and I saw the clock tick over to 12 a.m. and Thanksgiving begin. My friends and I, we've got a group chat, 40 or 50 of us, and now that it was technically Turkey Day, I posted a message, Happy Thanksgiving, with a note saying how thankful I was for all of them, using all of the appropriate emojis. So I was embarrassed when just a few seconds later, someone also up late, the first response was, quote, I guess, unquote, because the friend who posted this is full-blooded Native American and not exactly a big fan of the story of the Pilgrims and what that colony meant for his ancestors. It was all lighthearted. I apologized. He said that wasn't necessary, but it did make me consider, how can we celebrate the good, positive parts of Thanksgiving, the gratitude, the indebted acknowledgement that we thrive only through the support of others, while detesting the origins of the festival? Make no mistake, what happened to the Native Americans, the manifest destiny that led to the death of millions, was a genocide, and no human, and especially no Jew, should ever ignore this. So, Thanksgiving is, to use that baggage-heavy code word, problematic, and yet, do you know what else is problematic? Hanukkah. Hanukkah, as we know, starts early this year. We light the candles, first candle this Sunday. But what is Hanukkah? Everyone here probably knows some type of answer to that question. The menorah, the fight of the Maccabees, the miraculous oil, the spinning dreidel, the eating of fried foods, the time we spend with family. But what furrows my brow is Hanukkah's historic origin, the history behind it. Roughly 140 years before the Common Era, High Priest Mattiyahu revolted against the Seleucid Empire. He died, but his sons defeated their army and formed an independent Jewish state in the Holy Land. When Judah Maccabee entered Jerusalem as conqueror and retook control of the Second Temple, he rededicated the space for Jewish worship. From this rededication, we get the word Hanukkah and the spark of the festival's origin. Who exactly was Judah Maccabee conquering? A children's book would say Antiochus, but while Antiochus was the Seleucid king, history paints his involvement as secondary. The primary strife, the real struggle of the Maccabees, was against Hellenized Jews. A Hellenized Jew was a Jew who acted Greek, an assimilated Jew. They took Greek names like Menelaus and Jason, attended Greek social events, and sometimes even partook in Greek religious festivals, as those festivals were an integral part of the Greek economy. But they were still Jews. Was the Maccabee struggle religious, zealot against assimilant, or was it political, those who worked with their Greek neighbors versus those against them? Or was it social, urban assimilated Jews versus rural traditionalist Maccabees? No matter which, the assimilated, Hellenized, urban Jews were defeated, and we know how this story ends. The Maccabees successful and later becoming the Hasmonean dynasty. For what it's worth, the Hasmoneans themselves became increasingly Hellenized during the 100 years that they ruled the Holy Land, before Gnaeus Pompeius Magnus marched his Roman legions through and made everyone learn Latin. Around this time, the Pharisee movement thrived, beginning the rabbinic tradition we know today. Those early rabbis chose to keep the festival of Hanukkah despite the defeat of the people the holiday celebrated. Instead, they drew attention to the miracle of the oil. And 2,000 years later, here we are, lighting candles, eating latkes, and spinning dreidels, and giving gifts. So how's this for irony? That we have a holiday that at its core celebrates the victory of a bunch of religious zealots over their assimilated cousins, being celebrated today by a bunch of assimilated American Jews in a manner where the holiday is, on some levels, a Jewish Christmas. I don't think Judas Maccabee, the religious zealot, would be very happy to learn this. My point, though, Hanukkah has a story that us Reformed Jews rightfully excise from how we observe the festival. We snip out the problematic zealotry and fratricide and hold on to the spirit of miracles and family and jelly donuts. Yesterday, we celebrated Thanksgiving at my father's house. The dinner was delicious, the company warm, and I had a great time. I hope you all had a similar experience. But what we didn't do was celebrate the origin story, the Mayflower and the Pilgrims and Squanto, and what eventually happened to Squanto's people. We kept only the good parts. Thanksgiving, the holiday, is transforming before our very eyes. Here at Temple Emanu-El, we acknowledge that our campus, this building, is built on land that was stolen from the Muwekma tribe of South Bay's Ohlone peoples. This acknowledgement is just words, but words are important. And just as we acknowledge the troubling origins of some of our Jewish traditions, this is the first step towards healing the wounds of the past. What does Thanksgiving or any ritual mean to you? How do you or we evolve traditions so that they reflect our values? Thank you. And because I'm wearing many hats, I'm also the board rep. So, Shabbat Shalom. On behalf of Temple Emanu-El's Board of Trustees, it is my pleasure to welcome you to our Kabbalat Shabbat Service led by our Ritual Committee. Tonight's oneg is sponsored by Aviva and David Mapgonkar in memory of David's mother, Lena. Please join us in the foyer after the service for the Kiddush Hamotzi, right over there. Hanukkah begins Sunday, November 28th, in a couple days. You can bring a holiday smile to someone in need by purchasing a gift or two on the JFS Embrace a Family virtual dreidel board. That's out in the foyer. Just click on the QR code on the poster or online and purchase someone's wish, and JFS does all the rest of the work. After Thanksgiving is a signal for Giving Tuesday, and we hope you can contribute to our annual campaign so that we can continue to bring wonderful in-person and Zoom events to you. All Giving Tuesday contributions will be matched thanks to the Blitchock family and our Board of Trustees. Also on Tuesday is Rabbi's weekly chat at noon and Israeli dance at 7:30 p.m. On Wednesday at 7 p.m., we're inviting all new members who have joined since 2019 to a virtual cocktail hour so we schmooze and get to know each other. Next Friday, we hope you'll join our family service led by Shomrim, the 5th grade. Bring your Chanukkiot so we can light candles together and enjoy a Hanukkah oneg. And of course, don't miss filling your holiday with laughter at Latkes and Laughs on December 5th. You can purchase tickets to join virtually or come in person to a watch party here on site with Hanukkah treats. Wishing everyone Shabbat Shalom, happy Hanukkah. And Rock Shabbat December 10th. Thank you, Yuri. All right, now we go back to the Mishkan Tefillah. Rachel, would you like to lead us in Aleinu? Page 586. Please rise, if possible.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגיא הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני, ונאמר הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
And please be seated. We now think of those who have passed either recently or in years past. Observing Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning for Lynn Pomerantz. Observing Shana, the first year of mourning, we think of Leon Avrech, Robert Baker, Pauline Anderson Berkowitz, Carol Bitter, Hy Birdman, Phyllis Burden, Mary Cage, Roy Robert Creech, Alexander Cunningham, William Nelson Davenport, Norm Deshotsky, Carol Everett, Alan Garshin, Lyubov Gatsis, Richard Gersten, Charles Green, Phil Hammer, Judy Fisher Harrington, Selma Karcham, Janet Katz, Kevin Krieger, Hal Lax, Father Bill Lininger, Marianne Sunni, Michael Meltzer, Manny Migdal, Roberta Stilverman Newman, Patricio Orozco, Richard Pedersen, Colin Powell, Arlene Ravel, David Reiser, Steve Rice, Stanley Rosen, Steve Rosenthal, Betty Rossman, Jane Sargent, Rosalind Schwartz, Boris Skupiak, Marilyn Siller, Kit Snyder, Gunther Vogler, Marty Weisblatt, Henry Wild Sr., Millie Wolfson, Laura Zipper. We also think of those whose yahrzeit we're observing this week. We think of Sidney Eisner Atlas, Jack Baer, William Bain, Marvin Barbanel, Phyllis Barbanel, Goldie Bestner, Irving Bloom, Sidney Bronstein, Guillermo Brzezinski, Anna Husid, Nora Davenport, Gwen Decker, Rose Forster, Jay Frankel, Christina Frankel, Gloria Gambard-Tarrin, Harry Goldman, Millie Goldstein, Ginny Goldstein, Joseph Greenhut, Sarah Gross, Betty Hirsch, Howie Kamens, Stephen Kipperman, Mike Korek, Winnie Levin, Mose Livy, Harold Levy, Samuel Libglid, Lena Mapgonkar, Esther Miller, Harry M. Miller, Harry Miller, Annie Myers, Robert Rancière, Jack Rosenberg, Manny Rosenson, Rudolph Rothholtz, Stephen Schulman, Daniel Sheave, Edward Sheave, Alan Singer, Abraham Slavit, Sylvia Swid, Miriam Turetsky, Bessie Wagner, Lou Wasserman, Alex Weingarten, Herman Weisberger, Angela Young. For all of those named and non-named, we think of them, we rise together and recite the words of the Kaddish. On page 598. Yit Gadal v'yit Gadash Shemei Rabbah, ba'amal divrei churutei yamlich malchutei, b'chayachun uv'yomechun, uv'chayeh dekol beit Yisrael, ba'alah uv'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mivrach la'alam u'mayeh almaya, yitbarach v'yitba'ach v'yitba'ar, v'yitmumam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal Shmei dekudeshu brehu. Leomin kol birchata v'shirata, tush bechanata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shabaya, v'chayim aleinu v'akol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Osei shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, v'akol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at the season and in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Zichronom livracha. May their memories be a blessing. All right, and please be seated, and we will do a final song. If you want to.
We will. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Final song. Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom bimromav uyaseh Shalom aleinu ve'akol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oseh Shalom bimromav uyaseh Shalom aleinu ve'akol Yisrael ve'imeru amen.
Thank you. That now concludes our service. But I welcome you to join us in the foyer for Kiddush and Motzi, and led by Mr. Neil Winnig. Thank you.